Welcome, everybody. We're in our Stewards Weekly. Yay. So, you know how we do this? We usually go around and give a temperature check on the community. That's sort of like instead of our opening line, that is our opening speaking moment or time to share your thoughts about what's going well for yourself or in the community, things that you see and want to share with other stewards. I'm going to set a timer for, I guess, a minute and a half. And pass it on when you're ready. And I will start with Eduardo.
Oh, you got me doing praise. So what was the question again? Just temperature check?
Yep, our temperature check.
Okay. Well, I'm quite hyped because of the from the previous call. It was really nice to have so many people. Then secondly, I'm really happy that Manu and Nate joined and Shui joined the call to provide assistance. So it's not like only one focus of point. So and in general, I don't know. I feel the community is alive and with a very online value sense. So it's like a validation for me for this cultural build in a sense. So I'm really happy to see people that join the server or at least the orientation call who are value aligned. And in general, the rest of the things, I just like constantly saying myself, oh, it's true. We all are value aligned. That's really interesting. It's really nice. And I will pass it on to Lily.
Did you pass it to me?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah, I think things are going really well. It's really cool to see so much participation. Like yesterday in the Gravity call, it was mind blowing of how many people joined, and it was so many people today too in the orientation call, and it's super cool how I think we're thinking about a lot of things together and really like trying to activate the collective intelligence. I got very happy about SoftGov call yesterday and all of the ideas for improvements that we are starting to gather, and it feels like a very supportive energy, even like when talking about difficult things, like things that are not working out or something. And it feels like we're integrating well critical feedback. And also, there's a lot of little things that are popping up for us to decide that I feel curious about. Like even now, this question that Ryder made in the other chat of, oh, how can I go about creating an event? And then this little things that are like decisions that we need to figure it out. Like, can you just put straight in the calendar? Who has access to the calendar? Do you need to go through advice process? What is the and all of this like pathways feel very exciting to discover. And I'll pass to Mich.
Thank you. Temperature check. Well, I agree with a lot of points already that Livy just brought up. It's just like, wow, like the sheer amount of people that have joined, like, you know, it's a lot. And I think we're starting to hit problems with the overhead that we're having with generating all the aspects of communications and all the aspects of the cultural build, where it's just like, I wonder at what point will it start to slow us down, you know, with all the details and everything and trying to consolidate information. So it's like awesome. It's like we're getting so much traction and so much input and so many people, but it's like, how can we channel that so that we still are able to like move decisively and, you know, make decisions in a reasonable amount of time. That's my opinion. I'm always playing devil's advocate a little bit, but I'll pass it on to Chui.
Thank you, Mitch. There's like a really big like question. There's like an elephant in the room in the community about how are we gonna scale like the cultural build. I had like some feelings about this, but after the onboarding call that just passed, I was like, oh, like, damn it, like now it's for real. Now it's serious. Like now we can't have people just like walk into the TC and not being able to like integrate. So I feel that the community in general, especially the stewards, are questioning the meaning of the role. If it's something like we're trying to avoid like authoritarianism. We are like asking ourselves like what is the role that we play and how can we like efficiently coordinate for more people to be able to onboard and integrate to the cultural build. So I feel that just like the temperature is going like new ways. I find this exciting, but it's probably, I feel that probably is one of the biggest challenges that we have come across. How are we going to scale the cultural build? And I'll pass it to Griff.
Yeah, heat check. Community is good. I'm blown away with new people I haven't seen coming to parameters calls and engaging. It was really, I felt like there were two people that came into the params call and they were just like, hey, we want to do something. And so I made sure to give them something to do, it was just reading the blog post and editing it, or not blog post, but the learn modules, the text there. And boom, they had something to engage with. And I feel like that's where we're at on this, is like making sure that we have lots of tasks that people can engage to, and coming up with something on the fly so that we can test them. Because when someone says, hey, I want to get involved, you have that moment, and that's it. And then if they don't feel like they have a good way to get involved, it's over, and they won't. So seizing that moment, I think, is a good opportunity, and there's a lot of people who want to get involved. So it's very exciting. But I'll leave it at that. And I will pass it back to Tam because I don't know who else has gone.
Pastor Nate?
Yeah, thank you. I pretty much echo everything. I mean, Gravity was just wow. Like I was super impressed with how many people showed up. The presentation was amazing. The engagement was great. But I do share the same concerns that everybody has with scaling. But I do think that, the benefit of that is more people, is more minds to tap into in order to solve that problem. So I think that, what we're doing with the reward system and approaching that and how to fund working groups coming up is really important. I think that, what Griff said, having something to do for newcomers is really important as well. And so if you have your working group and you have a list of things that need to be done, here's the time to set out that roadmap and get these tasks organized to distribute. But outside of that, I think it's really great. I like the energy from what I'm seeing from the community, and the different working groups are really progressing in a lot of different ways. So I'll pass it to Ivy.
Thanks, Nate. Time check. I can see that a lot of things are going on in the community, and personally, I'm having a hard time to catch up with all the discussions and the forum. So, but which is good, because it means that there are a lot of important things that's going on, and more people are participating and engaging. So and another thing that I see is like with the discussion of the funding proposals, I realize that there's so much potential for every working group. Like now that we're especially in transparency, like Zep and I and Eduardo were talking about different ideas, and we see that there's maybe not only in transparency, maybe in other working groups. I think that's there's a huge potential in all our groups. So I think that's it for me. And I pass it to Zepti.
Oh, this mic. Thanks, Ivy. Yeah, I feel like I echo with a lot of the things we're saying there. Like there is a lot of projects, a lot of people. Like so, this is awesome, and I'm also super happy. Yesterday, I make a tweet, and Sean, Sam, and David replied to it. So it gives a lot of new ideas how to do research on the treasury management, and yeah, feeling great. I'll pass it to YGG.
Hey, thanks, Septi. Yeah, really good time. Lots of eyes on tech these days. Lots of new people coming in. I really like Griff's comment on have something ready if someone wants to jump in. I think there's lots of sort of inter-DAO action happening. There's lots of people swimming through the tech coming from Prime DAO and Longtail Financial and the whole metaverse, the metavision and metagame and everything. So it's really neat. People are coming here to see the examples that we're setting. The rewards research is, of course, like fundamental to basically every DAO in the world. So I just think it's really cool. And I mean, the TEC spotlight, like I think that's the cutting edge of what's emerging in the space. So it's just really cool that we are, I think, setting the stage for a lot of this stuff, and people are showing up and paying attention, and it's a nice position to be in. It's validating to what we've all been working so hard on, and yeah, just taking a moment to like appreciate and be grateful for that and all the hard work we've done, and on Griff's point, just being ready for those eyes and those people wanting to jump in and join. So yeah, I'll pass over to, I don't know if Mount Manu has gone.
Yeah, thanks, YG. Yeah, well, coming from the onboarding call from the T Scouts, I see that organization management and scaling, which is something that has been echoed, is becoming. I think it's a good challenge to have. Like there are bad challenges. I think it's good that we're attracting a lot of people. Definitely do send them my way for user testing if they want to engage on something like that. Is helpful all the time, especially if they are a UX or product designer. That's I mean, one feedback from a product designer is worth like 20 from regular users. Yeah, I have an idea for something. I shared it with Nate. We'll see if we turn it into a forum post. I know I will. Maybe we will together. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll pass it to Blanca.
Thanks, Manu. I feel happy about the Graviton training, but I also think that this is a humbling moment for Gravity, because like we are like promoting an organization that still like doesn't have a structure. So it's very important, like if we are gathering new people to the Graviton trainings, also to be able to have like a structure. And we have been having some requests about transparency and how to coordinate better in Gravity. And like I just had a call with Libby, and it was a great idea from her to start a repository on ZenHub for Gravity, to have the registry there and have certain information that can be accessible and public, and can like help to analyze those cases and also to foster coordination. So yeah, for me it's a humbling moment, because I want to make things good, and I don't want to hurry on any step, but yeah, we for sure need a lot of things to before going to where we want to go. And I will pass to Ryder.
Oh, do I check in even though I'm not like an official steward or something?
Yeah, feel free to share.
Oh no, what am I sharing about? Can you remind me?
Sure. So what we do at the beginning of this call in particular is just get a temperature check for how people are feeling about what's happening in our working group or in the community, and things
Okay.
that we want to share with the
Thanks
stewards.
yeah, I'm back. I like to talk in places where I feel safe. I see like a polarity, which is awesome because we're learning about polarities in gravity training and how they're not opposites, but really interdependent dynamic pairs, which is something I pretty much live by anyway. But between scaling and taking a pace that's inclusive for growth in the community, and I see like exponential growth being the privilege of the few, and that how do we onboard and pause enough to get maybe a diverse number of people who are in leadership when we're also trying to pace ourselves for like a Web3 scaling type thing. And my question also that arose yesterday was in SoftGov was if TEC is keeping the pace for Web3, how do we like slow down responsibly without being afraid of like competition or someone else like, I don't know, stealing and moving with ideas? Not sure who that comes up for, but that's kind of running through me. I also want to give appreciation for the topic of shame and toxic positivity coming up so transparently. Thank you, I hear that.
Shall I pass it to Craig?
I can. Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thanks everybody for all of the updates. I've learned more in the last 10 minutes than I've been able to keep track with over the last couple of weeks. So thanks, that's useful and helpful, and I don't have much to contribute heat-wise because I've just been busy otherwise. But I will, I guess, maybe it could be useful to echo what Griff and maybe Sean and others said is just having something to do because there are so many people that want to do stuff. And that's really what hooked me in the very first call so long ago was Livy and Jess and Griff and those folks, who initiated this whole thing, just started shoveling things my way, and I was like, yes, I can actually do something. So that's just an important move forward. Back to you.
I don't know who you passed to, but I know Eduardo hasn't gone yet.
I did go.
Oh, you did go? Oh,
yes.
Sorry. Nick, do you want to share some thoughts?
I think it's super exciting that we have so many people becoming more involved in like joining the calls and stuff. That's super interesting to see. Hopefully we can figure out a way to help those new members so that they can feel like they're truly part of our community. But I believe there's some ideas around that being worked on SoftGov. So yay. That's it.
Cool. And then I think the last, or maybe the second to last is Icy Soares. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
It's me.
Yeah, if you'd like to share a few words.
Today I am just listening to you all and knowing more about your community. I was vaccinated yesterday, so I'm not so good as well. And I'm just listening today. Okay?
Cool. Well, you're very welcome here, and I hope you feel better soon.
Thank you very
All right.
much.
So, cool. So I guess I'm the last one. There's a few things that are coming up for me. First, this idea of scaling. yeah, you know, we knew this was coming. Like, okay, we're gonna get this onslaught of new people, and then we hatched, and it didn't happen. Like, so it was like, okay, it's the summertime, everyone's going on vacation, and I think just with the new energy of fall, we're just going to see more people and more interest. And you know, in the winter months when people are staying home and looking for cool things to do, I think that we're going to continue to see a lot more volume of new people, and it's really going to be important for us to be able to make them feel welcome and engaged in the things that we're doing in our community. And then the other thing that I think both Craig and Ivy mentioned up was it's hard for us to keep up on all the things that are happening, and I agree with that too. And you know, my head has been down the last few days, just like, okay, working group funding and all these things that I'm working on that I haven't really checked the forum. I haven't, you know, I'll scroll through Discord, but it is hard to keep on top of everything. And in my mind, I'm like, that's for us that are on the Discord every day. Imagine all the hatchers who are really interested and vested in the TEC who are just weeks behind what's going on. So I think we really need to keep a concerted effort on making sure that people who are who've believed in us and who've invested in the TEC are informed of what's going on. Yeah, okay. Well, that was my time. So I'm cutting myself off. So there's a lot more people here than usual, which means that our time is passing quickly. But I think it's really important that, you know, as we've been, we started the TEC Stewrds in January. And as new people have been joining, we've slowly been developing these new rituals. And this has become one of the rituals that I think is maybe one of my favorites. And it's just when we have a new steward to welcome that person and share a few ideas or thoughts or memories of, well, for us, it's going to be this person here. So welcome, Mich. I mean, just gosh, you so deserve it. I don't want to start this. I'll end this. Really, you'll end this. But we need to take time to celebrate Mich. So I'm going to set a timer to 1 minute and pass it off. You know, when did you first meet this guy? What did you think? Do you have a memorable story you want to share about Mich? And I will pass to perhaps Nate to kick us off.
Yes, thank you. And congratulations, Mich. This is unbelievably deserving. I think the first time I really was just, I don't know, I was super impressed with Mich when we started doing parameters and like he just got it immediately. And I was struggling with it so hard. I was like, okay, how does this mechanism work? How does this work? How does this work? And Mich was like, no. Here's how it goes. This is exactly how it works. And I was just like, damn, okay. And not only that is that you were one of the few people that have been able to jump around to different working groups and really have a comprehensive understanding of what everybody does, from SoftGov to parameters to communications. Like you've been involved in it all. And so just really impressed and really happy for you. And thank you for everything you do for this community, man. And I'll pass it to Livy.
I think Mich has something that is really rare, that is combining confidence with like an actual knowledge of something. Like a lot of people, when they join really confident to something, they just like bulldoze a path of like speaking about something they don't know with confidence. But Mich just did that, but with the knowledge. Like you just learned so fast about everything, and you had like a very like humbling and confident path at the same time, pace. So that was really impressive and amazing to see. And everything you do is just like exceptional, and all of the things you write, and like you were telling me that you were not even a writer before. You just went like from the cooking to the writing, but probably with the same level of experience. So yeah, it's amazing to have you here. And I'll pass to YGG.
Awesome. Yeah, Mitch. I can't believe you're not a steward already, first of all. And this is amazing. I have a lot to say about Mitch. I got to know him jumping in the params, working on the param parties on Sundays. He was always jumping in, doing blog posts, like right off the bat, just like day one contributions, jumping in. He was asking me like, what can I code? You know, he's just like jumped right into Python, started coding Python, started writing blog posts, like all on day one, and has only like picked it up since then. One day he was asking me about Linux, and I was like, yeah, man, you should try out Linux. Like an hour later, he's like, okay, I've uninstalled my whole operating system and I've got Linux going. Mitch is always bringing the vibes. Like, he's just a really fun guy. He was awesome for running the params parties. Definitely put the party in params parties. And he's always got the Groovy bot going and like just like all around good times. I remember he was hosting params parties and he was like at a cottage, you know, with some friends, and it just like set the whole ambiance. And yeah, Mitch, it's awesome, man. It's been fun getting to know you and working alongside you. I'll pass over to Eduardo.
Thank you, YGG. Two things. The first thing I remember was like, it's similar to Livy. It was like, how this guy who is so quiet writes so well and knows so much. I was like, but didn't you just join the community? And I was like I was doubting. I was like, what's going on? Are you like, have you been here before and I just didn't know? And then secondly, which speaks about your humbleness. You never like overshadow anyone. You never are aiming for visibility. You are not like, you know, you don't speak loud. You just do your thing, and it's perfectly done. It's like it speaks by itself. And then I will always remember just sitting with you on parties after NCC, just talking on a coffee, weirdly eating, I don't remember what kind of food, and you saying like, hey, I just dropped everything and moved, and I don't know where I'm going left. I'm going forward. And I'm like, and I thought to myself, yeah, you're a risk taker, but it pays off. And I hope whatever you endeavor, it pays off. So I will pass it on to Griff.
So when I first met Mitch, he was the cook for my Burning Man camp. And I was blown away at how organized and effective everything was. And how delicious everything is. He's a professional chef, right? Mitch came in as a professional cook. And then he tells me, he's like, he comes to Costa Rica and he's like, hey, I kind of want to like do a remote job thing with some of my hippie friends that are down in Costa Rica that is also friends of Decentral. And then he started working for Github. And I started asking, hey, like, you know, he started writing stuff. It's like, I didn't know you were a writer. Yeah, Mitch is amazing at manifesting beauty everywhere he goes. Period. End of story. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's food, it's writing, it's developing, it's a manifesting of beauty. And some people just have that talent. And Mitch is one of those savants, right? Or magical unicorns. Oh wait, hamburger. One thing I want to add to is also I just love how much he brings like also constructive criticism and feedback, like critical feedback. When he sees something that's wrong, he challenges it, and it's so important and so beneficial to all the communities that he's a part of. And I'll pass it to Chewy.
Thank you, Griff. I can remember specifically the first time I met the Divine Comedian, but I remember that when I first came into the TEC, it just like entering any meeting or voice channel that had Mitch in it was like had a lot of knowledge to it, right? But with time, I have really learned to respect and admire the leadership that comes with it. So I just don't have a lot to say, but congratulations, Mitch. We also met in person in ECC, and oh my God, like we had so much fun. So I feel really, really happy for you, man. Looking forward to the next time we see each other. And yeah, that's what I have to add. I'll pass it to Juanca.
Thanks, Chewy. Well, the first real good impression that I got from Mitch was to say, "Wow, man, that's a great mullet," and I said, like, "I want that haircut," and yeah, he and then like he wore like an all hamburger outfit that speak of the person a lot. And yeah, he's someone with great personality. And also, like, then we started talking with him, and he speaks Spanish really well and also French. And yeah, that also talks about how someone like yeah, cares for understanding the other and other cultures. And that, I think that's great. So yeah, I think that not only the capabilities of him, but like the human aspect of him is really cool. I will pass to Septi.
Thanks, Juan. Yeah, I have a funny story. I remember a software call, and Libby was asking which games do you guys play, and I just say I'm playing Heroes of the Storm, and Mitch just DM me, hey buddy, let's play some games. So Mitch is actually the only person in the whole TC who I already play video games, which is one of my biggest hobbies. So yeah, this is super awesome, and I wanna second Chuy. I really admire the leadership from Mitch, like on the dashboard and on the debates from the Agave. So this is so awesome. So I'm so happy. I'm really happy for having you here, Mitch. And yeah, I'll pass it to Ivy.
Thanks, Zep. I think my first interaction with Mitch was when the TND repo was just starting. And when I needed someone to review my tweets, he's the first one who's was always available to and he gives me a review very fast. And also like the way he writes. When I was trying to bridge from mainnet to XDAI, so I'm very impressed the way he wrote the tutorial in the forum. And I just want to say also that he's my favorite person in the community called Praise because it's so easy to transcribe the phrases. So yeah, he speaks very clearly, and the way he structures his phrase is very clear. So yeah, it's so when it's Mitch's time to praise, I really look forward. It's very easy to transcribe for me. So yeah, and I pass it to Mount Manu.
Thanks, Ivy. Yeah, when I first met Mitch, when I was writing the forum post and he was helping, I felt like Hagrid. It was like, you're a wizard, Harry. I was like, you're a wizard, Mitch. It's like I was at awe at how he could, and this has been echoed, how he could go from writing to developing to managing and coordinating between different working groups. And he's one of the people that you're so at awe that and you respect and admire that you don't wanna message him unless it's really like something you need from him, because he's probably doing wizardly things in his ivory tower, right? So I really honestly is someone I look up to. The skills that he has are skills that I seek to develop myself. So yeah, I mean, congratulations on becoming a steward, and so happy to be part of the team working together with you and learning from you. And I'll pass it to, is that it? Ryder, Craig. I'll play the U-Town. I don't know who's next.
Yeah, Craig, do you want to say some words?
Yeah, thanks. Actually, so many wonderful things already said. I haven't had many personal interactions, so I'll just leave it there and say congratulations. Clearly, you're a genius and a wizard, and we welcome all wizards. Ryder.
Okay,
Are
and
people
Nick.
pass me? Because I pass. I just met Mitch, and this is a lovely praise session.
Cool. Thanks, Ryder, for letting us know. And Nick, is there anything you might want to say if you've met Mitch yet or had some interactions with him?
I haven't interacted with Mitch directly, but I do admire his way of delivering like feedback to people just from a couple of brands calls that I've attended. Also, congratulations.
And Icy Soares, I feel like I couldn't end this without offering you the opportunity. If you've had any interactions with Mitch yet, or you want to say something?
No, I didn't had any interactions with him, but it's very nice to meet him. I think he's here, so it's very nice to meet you.
Tam, I want to say something else. I'm gonna just jump in awkwardly and be like, if Mitch is good at giving feedback, maybe he could help the org do that better. Because I heard feedback that the org could do better at constructive criticism. Boom, just throwing that out there. Maybe you're already doing that, Mitch, and all of your magical things.
Okay. Cool. I guess I'll go last then. Gosh, there's so much. There's so many great things that we learn about you, Mitch. New things that we've learned, which is very cool. I'd also like to echo just, I have a lot of admiration for you. I have a lot of admiration for your hamburger outfit. I have a lot of admiration for the cojones it takes to wear it in the streets of Paris and at ECC. So that's probably enough said. You have this really, you look quiet. And when I first met you, I was like, oh, here's a quiet person. But you bring so much energy when you do speak or when you do interact that you have, it's like, you're very cool. I call it a quiet leadership. You are very powerful, but it's not this overt power. It's just sort of people see what you do. You deliver so much. You sow accord, the opposite of sowing discord. Like you bring things together and make things harmonious. And to what Griff said is, yeah, you can definitely deliver constructive criticism, but it's always with the intent of making things better. And I just really appreciate everything about you. So. I wish we had another 20 minutes, but we're going to have to move on to the next thing. You're probably very happy about that. Before we move on, of course, Mitch, you have to say a few words now too.
I mean, I wrote to Livy, I was like, man, I'm glowing, that was like a 20 minutes of like full praise bath, and I just don't know how to take it all. I mean, I'm so overwhelmed that everyone has such fond memories of me and like really like praising me on things that I didn't ever have thought of myself. So, I mean, that's really like wonderful to hear all these nice things from all of you. And I'm super stoked because I have such great memories from a lot of you from working here in the TEC and also the time we spent physically, in Paris, which was really what brought it all together for me in a lot of ways. Yeah, thank you so much. Like that was amazing. Welcome. I'll give it back to you, Tam.
All right, so we'll move along the agenda. We won't get through everything. Spotlight for tomorrow. Nate, do we have the green light? Are we good?
Yeah, we have Symmetric Finance launching their DAO token on XDAI, and they will be our spotlight for tomorrow.
Cool, and I'm gonna do the, oopsie. Okay, oops.
Did you happen to talk to Shabnan about, because she mentioned that Dada was going to happen now?
Sorry? Did she not do it in the last one?
No, because the last call we didn't have time for Dada, and then she suggested that we would move to this week. So maybe just talk to her quickly to clarify.
I'll reach out to her, yeah.
Cool. And is this where we're keeping this archive, or are we doing it somewhere else on the Gitbook? Is this the right link to be looking at?
That is the right link, yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right, public service announcement. Have you checked your GitHub notifications? Why not do it right now? See who needs you in ZenHub. Cool. Last thing, or not the last thing, but as I'm powering through these, snapshot vote September 24th to 28th. So that's happening this week. It's a big vote for our community. I just wanted to check with Wonka if this is the final version or is this a draft? Here, what I saw here. Eduardo pointed out, Eduardo crafted communication for outreach to hatchers, which you can find here if you want to outreach to people specifically or edit or modify or make suggestions. And one thing that he mentioned was it doesn't seem like there's, like maybe we could have more information in the snapshot vote itself. Wanted to see what your thoughts about that were, Wonka.
Yes, Tam, I talked with Edu, and the only issue is that we will need to update the link because we'll need to take down this vote and create a new one. But yeah, there's no issue on that, and we can. I think that the best link to share is not the one directly to the voting, but to the T space, so that yeah, that way we don't need to change the link too much. In a snapshot.
To the T space, you mean to the link will be on the forum post?
No.
Oh, the T space. Oh, I know what you're talking about. This here.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
That link never changed.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Cool. Okay, so you are going to make some updates to it.
Yeah, I will update it. With
Okay,
more
sorry, I'm
information.
kind of racing. Okay, thanks. Sorry, we have to race through this a little bit. If anyone needs to slow down or stop or has messages, please feel free to jump in.
Just a quick note on this proposal in general. If we do proposals, it will be helpful if we add just how it affects the hatcher in a brief description of the proposal for future references. So because people have sometimes short amount of time to read, so if they have to go through a forum post to actually know what the proposal is about, it's tricky and messy. So if we can have that sort of a template for adding this, always considering that in the proposal, it will be nice. That's it.
Yeah, I would tend to agree that having some sort of guidelines for effective, like informative proposals for saving the time of the voters would be great as well.
And there was one thing that Edu was mentioning today, and I think it would be good to have, and it's inform the hatchers how this decision would affect them. Yeah, I think that'd be good. So, better communication.
Yes.
Also,
go ahead, Chewy.
Sorry, I just wanted to suggest One Hive has like some basic guidelines that we can base it off, and based in our own cultural build, we could grab a copy of those guidelines and just add whatever we think it's necessary. But it covers the basics, like what the proposal is about, how much is it requesting, who are the funds being sent to. Yeah, this kind of stuff. I'll look it up and send it to you.
Yeah, we have these templates. They were actually based on One Hive's templates like a long, long time ago. I think we just need to update them, if anything. They are in the forum in all of the voting processes.
Would it make sense to move it to Gitbook? The forum sort of is a hard place to find, or maybe is there an easy place to find it? I feel like Gitbook might be, yeah. Thoughts?
Yeah, they are templated in the. So whenever you're going to make a proposal, they come up as a guide, but then we don't have that for Snapshot. So it could be good to put that template in a post or on Gitbook. And then every time someone will make a proposal in a Snapshot, they can just copy and paste.
Okay. Who wants to open this issue and track it? Oh, I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, good. Okay, Stewards Council, our inaugural meeting is tomorrow. Yay, very exciting. We have an agenda. We're only going to be talking about funding for working groups. The agenda maybe is not quite thorough yet. I'm open to suggestions on how we can sort of have those conversations, consideration points, and things like this. There is a link of food for thought, which other people have added to. I saw Mount Manu added because he added his name, but other people have added to this and I can't see who it is. The version history says anonymous, and I want to praise you, whoever you are who added to this, because it's been very helpful to pull this together. And how's everyone doing with their working group funding proposals? Maybe we'll go through the working groups. Well, we know Gravity's done theirs. I don't know, Legal is not here. Labs, YGG, is it on your radar? I feel like yours is pretty self-contained. How are you doing with the funding proposal for Labs?
It's on my radar. I'm just as of today, so just kind of opening it up.
Cool. And Juan Carlos and Gravity?
Yeah, we have like a draft, but I am sure that after tomorrow talking with you, we will have like better ideas. I am not very proud of that draft because it's like a list of prices, but yeah, it's just what came to my mind.
Yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It should be just a draft of some ideas. Anything, just anything would be great, a good starting point. How about SoftGov, Livia?
I really want to try just using the structure that we are developing for the DAO for SoftGov. So just reward systems and developing proposals for specific projects as they come up.
Cool, neat. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. That's a very interesting approach too. And common swarm and parameters, Griff?
Actually, very similar to Livia. Neither of them are going to have continuous funding, just a project-based. So, for instance, do we want to upgrade the Hatch dashboard, or do we need to achieve some goal like create a vote that only the common swarm could do? Because it's complicated, we would just make a unique proposal for each one-off use case.
Cool. And then Zeptimus and Ivy for transparency.
Ivy is rocking it. Like, she drafted a proposal and we were discussing it. So praise to Ivy.
Yeah. And Katie's not here for Communitas, but Eduardo, perhaps you have some insight you can share, or not? We find out tomorrow. We can.
No, we haven't. We talked a bit about it a few weeks ago. We have. My understanding was that we were going to wait a little bit until this council to understand what was sort of the path to take or the guidance for this. I went to transparency to learn a little bit of how they were doing it, and yeah. So I think there was this very interesting question of how do we do, like, how working groups prepare for people who are working in many working groups. So that was one of the questions that I felt we were not very clear about, and probably will add it to the agenda for tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's one of the things. So I've also dropped the Steward working group draft. I made a lot of progress on it, but Wednesday's a day where I don't have meetings, and I was able to make a lot of progress on this today, actually. I've been thinking about this for a very long time. So when I sat down to write it, actually a lot came out. And there's a lot of what you just mentioned. People will be in different working groups. So I know I just dropped it today, but if anyone has thoughts or information, we could add to the document or share it tomorrow. I tried to go through some of the assumptions I was making, like what are the first principles I'm looking at to make future decisions. I want to say one of the interesting things about this process was that it is a great moment of introspection about the future of the working group and how it relates to the TEC. And really forces a concentration on a strategic direction. So I actually think it's an excellent process for every working group to go through. So there's some of the purposes was rewarding active stewardship, fostering transversal coordination across all working groups, and of course supporting the continuation of stewarding in the TEC. I think this one first step should be as simple as possible. At least my thinking is that the first version of funding for a working group should be as simple as possible. I'll go through this maybe in more detail tomorrow. But it's some thinking about stewards and different working groups and working group lead roles or coordination, working group coordination leads, because the working group lead doesn't necessarily have to be the person that's doing the transversal coordination for that working group. Oftentimes it could be a PM or a contributor or just the person who's the right fit for that role. And then incentive mechanisms, I started thinking about what there was that was possible, that the reward is not actually a salary, and that the reward system will provide something, but we don't know how it's going to work yet. So trying to factor in the uncertainty about that into what a proposal should be. And the structure I came up with was a base monthly stipend for stewards, for coordination leads, and then if you're doing both, it's sort of a combination of them. There's some example scenarios, a low, a medium, and high of working group coordination lead, which means you have the responsibilities of essentially what I think is about, at least 10 hours a week minimum in terms of coordinating, participating in Scrum, planning the working group calls. And then the steward who's not a coordination lead, I would think is at least 5 hours of being in the know, of participating in the forum and Discord and participating in working calls and sort of being a steward in the know of what's happening in the TEC. And then some sort of like observations about it. I guess I must have stopped there. And then some advantages and disadvantages, and then just the specifics, like who are we talking about, how many coordination leads, how many stewards we currently have, and then some sort of mechanism to determine what is active participation. This one is not yet at all thought through yet. There's still some more thinking to do there, but this is as far as I've gotten so far in this process, and I'm really looking forward to talking about it with everyone tomorrow, because there are some scenarios like, a steward will be in many different working groups. And so there's lots of, and a working group lead will probably not be. So there's lots of these sort of interdependencies like this.
Can I ask that we drop on the agenda for tomorrow all the draft that we have from funding, so we can all read through and come with a little bit of the homework done, so we can sort of contrast and learn from each other's agreements or draft for proposals. So it will be easier to go to a call with all these read.
Sure, that's a good idea. I'm happy to do that. I'll just do it like that for now. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Okay. And then in the SoftGov call yesterday, for people who were able to participate, I think that many people here were able to make it. It was really exceptional. It's so nice to be in a community where, there's always, in every organization, there's always there's so much room for improvement. And to be in a community where there's a safe space to have really constructive criticism is really, really wonderful. And I'd say there's a number of things that came up, and we should talk about all of them, but I don't know how Olivia wants to organize that. But when we come, there's like a theme around stewards, leadership, and meetings. And I think that there's probably going to need to be some work around this. And I'd like to know if there's anybody, Nate, you had some thinking around this, I think. And I was wondering if there's somebody in the stewards group or not in the stewards group who wants to sort of lead some thinking process around these changes. to sort of spearhead the process for how these stewards can evolve and sort of tease apart some of these constructive feedbacks to see where it leads us?
Yeah, I think the whole intent behind it was, I think each working group should, each steward of the working group should, create their own practice. But at the end of the day, the idea is to kind of eliminate any type of social hierarchy that may be influencing or taking up too much space, to allow others to find their voice, to empower your contributors to actually take a larger role and find some type of belonging within your working group. And so I just see that as being beneficial, and the intent behind the entire process of modifying the role of steward.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe if you are the person that would want to do this, but just around this sort of theme, I think we need somebody who can sort of champion this in terms of like teasing out some of these evolutions, and I don't know, do you have time, or would you be interested in spearheading?
I can come up with a document. Yeah, I can at least come up with a document, and we can share it within maybe the next week's stewards meeting and talk about it.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I don't want that information to come into our group and then have nothing happen with it. And I know at this moment, I don't think I can successfully do it. So I was hoping somebody in our group would be able to take on sort of teasing that apart and understanding the possibilities that we can make the stewards a stronger, better, less hierarchical too, or whatever the criticisms are, and how we can address and mitigate it. So it'd be great if you could lead that.
Yeah, I can do that. I also wanted to take this time to bring up a potential immediate scaling issue. Gravity kind of pushed the boundaries of our Discord capacity, and if this becomes a trend, we may need to think of some solutions for it.
I've been thinking a similar thing. There is once we hit 500 members, I don't know if we have 500 members right now, but once we hit 500 members in the Discord, then we can have a stage, and the stage allows you to you can have infinite number of people, and then well, maybe not infinite, but a lot, and then you can only allow certain people to go on stage. And so we could kind of restructure around using that as a tool in Discord. And I'm sure you guys have seen it in other Discords. The problem is we need to have 500 people. I don't think we do, because I haven't been offered that opportunity.
Cool. We are at the top of the hour. That sounds like a great issue to make. Somebody drop it in ZenHub. I have a feeling we can, between Vi and other people in our group who can help solve Discord scaling issues. But it helps if it's in ZenHub, then people can see it and can try to solve it. So that was my last push for ZenHub tonight. I love you all. Thank you so much for spending this hour with me. And I'll see you later.